Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of The Night, a memoir by Byelie Wiesel. The Night, which was published in 1958, is a powerful, mostly autobiographical work. It recounts the experiences of a teenager in Nazi concentration camps during the Holocaust. Holocaust means it is the incident where Hitler killed many people at the same time mercilessly. And the narrative begins with Elisa's life in the Transylvanian town of Siget and follows his harrowing journey through Auschwitz, Buchenwald, and finally his freedom liberation. The literary memoir means it's almost like an autobiography, but in autobiography we'll start with our birth and we will write till the day we are publishing it. Memoirs means just the memories of our life, almost like a half autobiography. And this is a personal account of his survival, how he survived even after being caught by the Hitler army. And the book dwells into the profound questions about faith, about humanity, and actually the consequences of unchecked hatred. It was only because of the hatred towards the Jews these people had to suffer so much. Night explores the darkest depths of human cruelty and the struggle for survival in the face of unimaginable horror. It provides a first-hand perspective on the dehumanization of the Jewish people during the Holocaust and the emotional and psychological toll of trauma they underwent. Byelie Wiesel's reflections on the loss of his innocence, the fragility of life, and the search for meaning in the midst of profound sufferings contribute to the story's unenduring impact. After observing a 10-year vow of silence about the Holocaust, Wiesel published Und die Welt hat geschwiegen, that is Yiddish for And the World Remained Silent, which is an 800-page account of his life during the Holocaust in 1956. And in 1958, he translated from its original Yiddish into French and he published it under the title La Night. Later on, it was translated into English and published in 1960 as The Night. At the start of the memoir, in 1941, Eliezer is a 12-year-old Jewish boy in the Hungarian town of Siget. He is deeply religious and spends most of his time studying the Torah, that is the Bible, and the Talmud and praying. His parents and sisters run a shop in the town and his father is a person who is highly respected in the Jewish community. Elsa begins to study the Kabbalah, the book of Jewish mysticism, with an immigrant named Mocha, the beadle. When the Hungarian police deport all of the Jewish foreigners, that is the foreign Jewish, Mocha is sent away. But soon he returns with a terrible information that the Gestapo stopped the train and slaughtered the deported Jews. Mocha escaped with a leg wound and has come to warn the Jews of Siget to leave the place. The Jews of the town cannot believe what Mocha is saying and think that he has gone mad. The war continues through 1943 and in 1944 the Jews of Siget still don't really believe that Hitler intends to exterminate them. Eliezer wants his father to relocate the family to Palestine, but his father says he is too old to start again. The fascists come to power in Hungary and German soldiers enter the country. But German officers are arresting the Jewish leaders of the town. Soon the Hungarian police round the Jews and force them to like cattle into trains headed to an unknown destination. The Jews travel on the train for several days, during which time one Jewish woman actually goes mad and screams about fire. The train arrives at Birkenau, the gateway to the Auschwitz concentration camp, where the passengers can see chimneys belching fire and they also smelt burnt flesh. That means that the chimney is belching out the fire of the people who are burnt. The women are immediately separated from the men and Eliezer never sees his mother or his sister again because they were immediately sent to the gas chamber, which means they were put to death. A Nazi SS doctor separates those who are going to be killed immediately from those who will work. Eliezer sticks close to his father. That first night in the camp, he witnesses babies and children thrown into a great fire in a burning ditch. Elisa's faith in God is really shattered. Elisa and his father manage to stay together. All the prisoners are tattooed with a number, and this becomes their identity. They are told they must work or they will be burnt in the crematoria. They spend 3 weeks at Auschwitz before marching to another concentration camp, Buna. Here, Elisa and his father spend their days working in an electrical equipment warehouse. Their kappa. Kappa means he will also be a prisoner, but he will have the power to control the other prisoner, and he will only have to get the work done through them. Their kappa beats people, including Elisa and his father. The SS doctor appears again to select another batch of people for the furnaces to be burnt alive. Elisa has a scare when his father is chosen, but somehow his father managed to convince them that he can still work. While at Buna, Elisa continues to rebel against the idea of God being just. After being forced to witness the slow hanging death of a child, he ceases to believe in God altogether because he believes that God is not at all just because innocent people are being killed alive. With the front lines of the war getting closer, the prisoners at Buna are evacuated on a long, nightmarish death march to a camp called JAYA'S. People die continuously along the way as the SS forces them to run for hours and hours in the snow, shooting people who fall behind. Upon arriving at Buna, a young Jewish violinist plays pieces of a Beethoven concerto. By morning, the violinist has died. The survivors of the march are kept without food and water for several days. More are separated from the rest to be killed, and the remaining prisoners are cramped onto trains in open-roofed cattle cars. The train ride is endless. The Jews have nothing to eat but snow, and people keep dying. When they pass through a German town, some German workers toss scraps of bread in the car to watch the starving prisoners fight to the death. More people lie down in the snow and die when the train at last arrives at another concentration camp, Buchenwald. Elisa's father grows feverish and also contracts dysentery. The doctors refuse to help because the camp doesn't want to waste food on sick people, and Elisa offers his own rations to his father, who is soon delirious. The night before Elisa's father passes away, an SS officer beats his father on the head. Elisa is unable even to cry or moan. He spends another 2.5 months at Buchenwald in the days before the Nazis begin another prisoner evacuation. This time, there is an armed uprising among the prisoners and the remaining SS flee. American tanks arrive, followed by food, although Elisa gets food poisoning and spends 2 weeks in the hospital near death. When he looks at his face in the mirror for the first time since he left the village of Sighet, he sees a vision he will never forget. That is, he saw the face of a corpse. His face was like a dead man. The memoir ends here. It has a huge impact when you read the original book. This is a beautiful book which tells about how the Jewish suffered in the hands of the Hitler army in the concentration camps. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.